Raupp of AimeeRaupp.com, and I am happy to come to you live every week, as I have been doing for I think years at this point. And hello. Today we are going to talk about something important, and I also have a really awesome free video series for you guys. Zero strings attached. It's all about releasing shame around your fertility journey, and I'll give you that link in just a few minutes. But I want to talk to you today about endometriosis because it is Endometriosis Awareness Month, all of March. And a lot of people, I'm going to read to you from my best-selling book, Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, which is all about how to optimize your fertility naturally and how to get pregnant faster, basically. There's diet, there's lifestyle, there's supplement, there's mental, emotional information in this book, and it is a bestseller for a reason. And I'm actually revamping it the next couple months, and a new edition will be out soon with even more amazing information. But let's read about what endometriosis is, and then we'll get to it. The ASRM, which is the American Society of Reproductive Medicine, states that endometriosis is the second most common cause of fertility issues in women, affecting approximately 20 to 30% of women who are having a difficult time conceiving. Endometriosis is a female health disorder that occurs when cells from the lining of the uterus, the endometrial lining, grow in other areas of the body, such as the ovaries, intestines, and fallopian tubes. With each monthly menstruation, this endometrial tissue responds to the fluctuation in hormones and can cause, you guys can probably relate, give me a hands up if you can relate. Endometriosis can cause menstrual pain, internal bleeding, heavy menstrual bleeding, scar tissue buildup, blocked fallopian tubes, and difficulty conceiving. Because endometriosis is the most common cause of anatomical problems that can lead to fertility challenges, if you are dealing with any anatomical or structural fertility challenges, follow these endometriosis recommendations. So I have recommendations listed out in the book, but let's go through some of them. I just want to also read some research from 2012. So endometriosis is an autoimmune condition. You guys also know that I wrote this book more recently, Body Belief, which is all about how to heal from autoimmune diseases. The whole real impetus behind this book was endometriosis, because I see it so often in my clinic. It is so often the case of these unexplained infertility cases. I don't like to use the I word, but I'm using it here for a point. If you've been diagnosed with unexplained infertility and you do have some menstrual pain, discomfort, pain with ovulation, the HSG hurt, so that when they flush your tubes with the dye to see if your tubes are patent. If that hurts, that's usually an indicator to me too. If ovulation, if it's significant pain, there can be endometriosis. It is one of the most common things I see, and it can be implemented in. It could be a part of habitual miscarriages as well. So not only the ability to get pregnant, but the ability to stay pregnant, because it is an autoimmune condition. And so let's continue reading from the book just a little bit more. So in 2012, the journal Autoimmunity Review stated, in some of these women with endometriosis, there are also chronic local inflammatory process and presence of autoantibodies. It is not known whether this process is part of the etiology or is secondary to the response. Furthermore, endometriosis shares similarities with several autoimmune diseases. Another paper published in the journal Fertility and Sterility concluded that substantial evidence indicates that endometriosis at least shares many similarities with autoimmune diseases. So whether or not it's technically an autoimmune disease, similar to PCOS, it shares very many similarities. So if you are a woman who's been trying to conceive and you have read this book and it's still not working for you, you still have some kinks in your system or some red flags, I urge you to go and follow specifically the diet in here. The best diet that I have found that works for endometriosis and helps women heal is an autoimmune paleo diet. So if you don't know what that means, you can take your own time to look that up, or go to Get Body Belief and follow the diet in that book. It's a little stricter than this diet. It's not just gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, free and, free of organic and, organic and pesticide free food, it's a little more aggressive than that. You can't do nightshade vegetables, you can't do grains. You're just basically eating protein, vegetables, and fat, and that's it, except for nightshade vegetables. You can't do lectins, which are nuts and beans. And if you haven't tried that and you're still struggling with trying to get pregnant, you suspect you have endometriosis, you've been told you have endometriosis, it is the best way to manage endometriosis. I have seen girls that were struggling for years to get pregnant and had endometriosis that did not do surgery, that when they followed this diet, it turned things around. They actually got pregnant naturally after many failed fertility treatments. I've seen that time and time again. I've seen girls with habitual miscarriages. We turn around the endometriosis, they get and stay pregnant. A lot of these women, too, I strongly urge that you see a reproductive immunologist, not a reproductive endocrinologist. A good starting point is Dr. Braverman's website, preventmiscarriage.com, and then you can find practitioners where you live based that can help you with endometriosis. But symptoms of endometriosis. Some women can have very severe symptoms, and some women may have no symptoms at all. That's what they call silent endometriosis. Common symptoms include very painful menstrual cramps. Pain may get worse over time. Chronic pain in the low back and pelvis. Pain during or after sex. Intestinal pain. Painful bowel movements. Painful urination during menstrual periods. Spotting or bleeding between menstrual periods. Difficulty getting pregnant. Fatigue. Diarrhea, constipation, bloating, or nausea, and especially during your periods. So for me, a real classic indicator of endometriosis, in addition to the HSG hurting, the hysterosalpingogram being painful, like extremely painful, is nausea, vomiting, diarrhea with the period. I myself, when I am not in my cleanest, will get a bout of diarrhea 1 or 2 days before my period comes. And that used to be extremely intense. It would last for days. I would have diarrhea and cramping all through my period when I was in my mid to late 20s. And so looking back, I suspect I had endometriosis pretty significantly. And my diet, lifestyle, acupuncture, Chinese herbs, all of those things really help shift things, lower inflammation in my body. And you guys have heard my story a million times. Like, eczema is my red flag symptom. I use eczema as the kind of gold standard of like when my skin is flared up, I know there's more inflammation in my body. And that is not my most fertile time, if you will. Like, I need to, so I basically live in the body belief style diet, and it is what keeps many of the symptoms at bay. And I have just seen it time and time again. In fact, Dr. Braverman, whose website I recommended, him and I co-treated many clients over the years. And once he said to me, because he would just recommend like a paleo or a Mediterranean diet, and it's not enough. It's not enough for endometriosis clients. And vegetarian diets are typically really bad for endometriosis because you're doing a lot of nuts and beans, and the lectins are highly inflammatory. So unless you're soaking and sprouting those nuts and beans, you are doing more harm than good to your body. But he said to me once, he goes, whatever you're doing with like the diet and the supplements and the acupuncture, I've never seen the levels of inflammation that I see in these endometriosis patients go away so quickly. And I learned a lot from him, and I think he learned a lot from me, and hence my knowledge base to go and write this book on autoimmune conditions to really help those endometriosis patients. But Hay House, and I agreed. Hay House wanted me to make it more general about autoimmune conditions. So we talk about Hashimoto's in there. We talk about endometriosis, celiac, all the common, there's over several hundred autoimmune conditions at this point. And many people have more than one. So a lot of endometriosis clients do have Hashimoto's, which is thyroid antibodies, or they might have celiac. It's very common to see celiac and endometriosis together. And which one led to, each other, who knows? Probably celiac led to the endo, if I had to guess. But so tests you need to get done if you suspect you have endometriosis. So it's very hard to diagnose endo. That is the problem we have here. It's very hard to diagnose. I believe Aimee Raupp did a post on this last week, and it said the average woman sees 5 doctors before she gets a diagnosis of endometriosis. Early on in my career, way before I even wrote Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, probably 10, 15 years ago, I was looking at the statistics. Remember, I was a research scientist before I became an acupuncturist, so I'm a total nerd. But I was looking at the research, and it said that, 1 in 10 women have endometriosis. And 1 in 3 or 1 in 5 are going to have a hard time conceiving because of the endometriosis that is undiagnosed or mismanaged or mistreated. So I just basically started assuming every woman probably has a potential for endometriosis. So I'm going to put every woman on the same kind of diet and the same kind of supplements. And obviously, I always do herbs and acupuncture based on the individual's presentation. So I have to do a one-on-one time with that patient and diagnose that way. But generally speaking, this is the diet, these are the supplements, this is the lifestyle. Because it was estimated at that time, and this is probably 2010, 2011, that 40% of women with unexplained infertility were actually endometriosis cases. So look at this. Nada had a terrible experience with HSG, extremely painful, never knew it's connected. I don't know that there's a connection necessarily in the data, but it's a connection I've made in the clinic, and it's more of like a leading to me. Like I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So you get vomiting, diarrhea, nausea with your period, and you had a really painful HSG. Okay, I'm going to assume, because basically how endo grows, it's like cobwebs. So it's the endometrial lining that should just be inside the uterus, but for some reason, we call it a retroverted period. Like it's tissue, menstrual tissue growing outside of the uterus, and it grows like cobwebs. So it connects to things. It'll latch onto your ovaries. It'll latch onto your fallopian tubes. It can latch onto your colon. I had one girl on her diaphragm. She would get a pneumothorax, a lung rupture with her period, and no doctor could figure it out. It happened like a couple times in a row. And then finally it was discovered, based on her other symptoms too. She had very intense periods, very painful, heavy periods, had a hard time getting pregnant, so she was already coaching with me. We figured out that it was endometriosis, got her to the right doctor. She did surgery, as I just pour water all over myself. She did surgery to manage that. No more pneumothoraxes, no more painful periods. We haven't yet started trying to get pregnant again, but we will. But she had a hell of a year basically figuring it out. So endo can attach to anything, to your anus. You ever have people that get pain right after they have a bowel movement? That's another sign of endometriosis, right? So there's all these little signs and symptoms. And like I said, you could be covered in endo and have no symptoms. You could have just a little bit of endometriosis and have a lot of symptoms. And endometriosis itself has these autoimmune characteristics, and/or is an autoimmune condition. And so it lends itself to a lot of inflammation in your body. And what you need to do, whether or not you decide to get the diagnosis and get tested, which getting tested is very hard. You have to either have a laparoscopic surgery to get tested, so they go in through your belly button, or a pelvic MRI, neither of which many insurances cover. So it's less likely for women to get this diagnosis. There are some new tests now. There's an endometrial function test that you can do. It came out of Yale. That is a biopsy in your uterus, and it can give you your, like, whether or not you have, what's the word? Not tendency, but the likelihood of having endometriosis. So it gives you a percentage, basically, based on the endometrial lining biopsy. That's one way you can look. You can get natural killer cells tested. If they're elevated, we assume things like endometriosis. You can see one of these reproductive immunologists. There's some great ones around New York City. People I like to talk about, Jonathan Scher out of Mount Sinai, Braverman's practice. Braverman has passed, so Dr. Andrea Vidali is an amazing endometriosis specialist. Dr. Kwak Kim, why am I blanking? There's Dr. Kofinas. He looks into these types of things. These are all the New York City type doctors that will look into these endometriosis symptoms, and they're immunologists, and so they'll do these immunology panels on you and then determine whether or not you have endo. A lot of times surgery is recommended, but you don't have to do surgery. I've had many women that have managed this through diet and lifestyle, but because it is an autoimmune condition, you still want to be working with an autoimmune fertility specialist if and when you get pregnant, to help you then hold the pregnancy, because sometimes endo is not causing a hard time getting pregnant, it's causing a hard time staying pregnant. It can do both, but it can also do one or the other. I see. I did 6 months internal pelvic floor PT because I never got an endo diagnosis. The period pain is worse than ever. Could PT make it worse? Oh gosh. Um, I haven't necessarily seen that. I'm sorry you've experienced that. I have seen that Mayan abdominal massage, so not internal, but on top. Mayan abdominal massage, regular castor oil packs, of course, acupuncture, Chinese herbs can really help with the endometriosis symptoms, can help regulate the immune system, and can then help you get and stay pregnant. So I want to continue reading. So the test you need to ask your doctor if you want a definitive diagnosis: laparoscopic, pelvic MRI, how to naturally manage symptoms. The truth is, even if you have surgery to remove your endometriosis, without making the dietary and lifestyle changes mapped out for you in this book, the endometriosis will come back. It'll grow back in about 6 months, is what they estimate. The best way to manage endometriosis, even if you don't know you definitely have it, but are experiencing many of the symptoms or have some symptoms and you're not conceiving or suspect you might have it, follow the fertility rejuvenation protocol herein. In addition, avoid dairy, pay special attention to your mental emotional state. So what this means for your fertility, I'm going to get into some of these recommendations. Endometriosis can not only cause hormonal imbalances that can prevent pregnancy, but it can also cause anatomical ones such as blocked fallopian tubes that can prevent pregnancy. Be disciplined and follow the guidelines in this book, and you will manage your symptoms, regulate your hormones, and improve your fertility. However, keep in mind that the structural damage endometriosis can do to your body, in particular to your fallopian tubes, may require medical intervention. But don't feel discouraged, as women with endometriosis get pregnant all the time. So, and they do. And I've had that. I've seen it in my case. I still don't have a diagnosis, but I suspect it. Yeah, I would suspect it too. I would maybe try the Mayan instead. I'm going to go with Kelly, maybe, Kel, and see, or acupuncture, Chinese herbs, but especially dietary and lifestyle changes. So this book, Body Belief, is where I really dig into autoimmunity. And we talk about not just lifestyle changes that you can make, like obviously avoiding all the chemicals in your environment, because especially with endometriosis, you are really susceptible to being impacted by all the endocrine disrupting chemicals. You've got to go clean with your bath and beauty products. Anything you touch, anything you breathe needs to be chemical free, needs to be free of endocrine disrupting chemicals. If you don't know what those are, read my books. They're in there, or go to my website. I have tons of information, aimeeraupp.com. So you also need to eat super clean. Like I said, autoimmune paleo, I think hands down is the best. The Body Belief diet is autoimmune paleo mixed with little Chinese medicine stuff, you know. So acupuncture, Chinese herbs, seeing a licensed acupuncturist who's also an herbalist, I think is crucial. Some of my associates, they use me to help prescribe the herbal remedies, and I do that even if you work with one of my associates. I can still chime in on the herbs. Sarah, my New York City associate, though, is an incredible herbalist. So if you're seeing her, you're in good hands. And Heather and Michelle, I still help them with their herbal formulations, because Sarah and I study with an herbal mentor together, and has helped us a lot in our careers. But so anyway, that aside, you want to get, so Mayan abdominal massage, regular castor oil packs. Follow all the tips and rules on how to do castor oil packs. If you just Google Aimee Raupp castor oil packs, my video will come up, or the blog post will come up with all the information on how to do castor oil packs and when to do them and all of these things. I'm actually doing one right now as we're talking. Is that hysterical? I have a castor oil pack on my belly at the moment, because it feels so good. So the diet, autoimmune paleo, like I said, and then the mental emotional state. So if our body, autoimmunity at its very core is our body attacking itself. It's created these autoantibodies, and thus it creates a ton of inflammation in the body. Stress alone can impact this. I know nobody wants to hear this, but stress alone can impact endometriosis. Nada asked, does it matter where it's located? No, it doesn't. Because it just causes this systemic inflammation in the body. So you have to address the mental emotional. A lot of times, endometriosis is a lot of, we say Chinese medicine, this is how we look at it. There's a lot of repressed emotions. There's a lot of like anger, resentment, rage. Maybe there's undigested emotions. Maybe there's a history of, emotional abuse, physical abuse, that type of stuff that's unresolved. And so this tissue kind of just hangs out and isn't allowing itself to be cleared out by the body. And so what I do with a lot of my clients is we really dig deep on that emotional piece too. We unpack a lot of the traumas. And trauma is really anything that was traumatic to you. It doesn't have to be a big, a big life, you know, catastrophic event. Trauma is what was traumatic to you. So honor that in you. You have to honor your emotions. You need to learn to reconnect to yourself. So body belief, my latest book is really all about, you know, three pillars: reconnecting to yourself so you can renew your body beliefs and then you reawaken your health. That is the key to helping heal endometriosis. And I can't stress it enough that if you've been at this for a while, if you've been trying to conceive and it's not happening, or if you've had many miscarriages and doctors can't seem to figure out a reason why, or if you continue to get poor quality eggs but doesn't really make sense because your reserve is decent, um, or you have poor reserve for, you know, your age, which doesn't make sense, look to endometriosis. Look to endometriosis. Um, I would really urge talking to a reproductive immunologist or a specialist like me who can help you find the right doctor for you. Um, because it has much bigger implications if not managed. It's beyond just trying to get pregnant. There's a lot of inflammation in your body that needs to be better managed. And the inflammation is coming from the food and the environment, but it's also coming from your thoughts and your beliefs and how you talk to yourself and how you're processing your emotions. So you need to look at this in a multifaceted way. And that, in my opinion, is the only thing that really helps you get over it. So a lot of, you know, a lot of people like to just do the tangibles. Tell me what supplements to take. Tell me what diet to follow. Tell me, you know, what exercises to do, and I'm going to do them. And endometriosis is more complicated than that. In its frequency and consistency of which you do these things, I think you need to follow a diet like the one I have mapped out in Body Belief for at least 6 to 9 months, and you start to see those changes. Some girls will see the changes sooner. I had one. Well, that's so weird. On Facebook on my end, it's got nothing. I only see 3 people joined. It's weird. Um, I can't refresh the page because then it'll turn off the video. But my assistant just told me there's lots of questions on Facebook. But if I could show you my screen right now, all it says is Beth joined, Monica Vivas joined, Laura Fletcher joined. I don't see any questions. So weird. I'm gonna type question here and see. Yeah, this is so weird. Okay. Hopefully they'll just load up in a second. If not, I will just go through and answer them later. I apologize, but I don't see any questions on my end. It's the strangest thing. Okay. I don't know if Beth, you can come in as me and cut and paste them or something, but I don't see them. Let me just see. Are there links between endo and ectopic pregnancies at all, even if you've had multiple HSGs and they come back normal? There could be, you know, because if the endo is kind of pulling on the tube, I could see where things could get stuck. But when you have the HSG, it's a lot of pressure, so it pushes out, you know, it doesn't allow those kinks in the tube to be that present. So I could see that they would be patent or open, but that in natural conception, perhaps if the endometriosis is there, you know, for you, I would definitely do daily castor oil packs leading up to ovulation. I don't recommend castor oil packs once you could have ovulated because it can impact pregnancy. So we don't want to negatively impact pregnancy. Um, so where was I? I got sidetracked. But just talking about that, you know, you need to look at this as a multifaceted approach. So for me, like I said, I kind of assume every woman who's having challenges, and they're unexplained has some sort of endometriosis, and I treat it accordingly. And that is why I do believe I have such good success rates, because I go after it aggressively, and I empower the woman to make these changes mentally, emotionally, physically, and nutritionally to really help herself. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into Facebook on my Safari and I'll look at the question there, Beth. Sorry, I don't want to miss your questions, guys. So let me do this. Let me see. Supposedly, there's a lot of questions on Facebook. Let me get there. My computer not being so funky. Let's see what's going on here. It's taking forever to load. Okay. I don't want to lose you guys, but I do want to answer these questions. I think it's really important. Oh my God, taking forever to load. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. 12 comments. Wow, look at that. Okay. Does all medication during IVF cycle make the endo worse? And anything to keep in mind during an IVF cycle? I think that's a hard question to answer, Meredith. But I would say that, estrogen is going to feed a lot of the endometriosis. So what you really want to do is go in as like, clean as possible. So following like a protocol like I have laid out, and even just yes, you can get pregnant. Yes, you can get pregnant or body belief, but for like ideally a couple months before you go into the IVF will really put you in the best position so that the inflammation is lower and you won't respond as much to the IVF meds. If you're already doing a cycle, then I would do something like my Purify phase from body belief after the cycle. Not it meaning if you're doing a frozen. So if you're doing retrievals and then freezing and then not transferring yet, then I would go and do it that way, that you would then get super clean on the diet, because you do want to clean up the uterine environment if you're going to transfer embryos back into there. But something like my liver support juice in the body belief program is really helpful to prevent the meds doing too much damage, if you will, to the system. I did the body belief diet and reintroduced foods such as nightshades and nuts. I didn't have any reaction. I'm feeling okay. Are they okay to even eat if though I have endometriosis? I have silent endo. So I think there's like twofold on this. Is that if you're still not getting pregnant, I would be as clean as you could be on your diet. If you're starting to see shifts in your cycle and like shifts hormonally and things are changing, then yes. But I've had girls that had very few symptoms and, but sticking to the diet was what actually helped them stay pregnant. This is so strange. All I see are 4 questions, even though there's 13 comments. I don't know what the hell is going on with Facebook. Okay, so someone else, do you have any recommendations for specialists in Pennsylvania? So what I would tell you, Kel, is to go to preventmiscarriage.com and look on his website for recommended practitioners, because he has a list of practitioners almost in every single state. That's where I would go to look for endometriosis practitioners. Or reach out. You can join, they have an endometriosis and trying to conceive Facebook group. You could join that group and then ask. It's run by Braverman Reproductive Immunology / Dr. Vidali. How old were you when you got pregnant? Do you think it's possible to get pregnant at 41? Yeah, I got pregnant at 40, and then I just got pregnant again at 44. I sadly had a miscarriage, but not for age-related reasons. It was Turner syndrome, and so I'm going to actively try again at 45, and I have high hopes. Okay, Laura, that's me. Silent endo, stay in the Purify phase. Yeah, I agree. Laura is an e-course student of mine who is now currently pregnant. She's very pregnant and about to have a baby. And I can speak for her and say that body belief completely changed everything for her. Following that diet and that lifestyle and the mental emotional component, she had significant fertility challenges, and everything turned around when we found each other. Watching from South Africa, welcome. Meredith, I love that juice. Okay, I do not know why all the comments are not showing up. This is so strange. Okay. On this page, no comments. It's so weird. All right, so I can't see other comments. I don't know, Beth, if you want to cut and paste any of the ones, all I can see is 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes ago. They don't come down any further than that. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. Let's see. Love that juice, made it today. Watching from South Africa. Okay, this was asked earlier. I don't know if you see it. Can acupuncture help with endo? I've been having acupuncture do micro tears in my pelvic floor with acu needles. Seems to be helping with the pain, blood flow, stagnation. Curious if this is common. She went to Tri-State for her doctorate in acupuncture. I've never heard of this before. Micro tears in pelvic floor with acu needles. That's not Chinese medicine. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's not how we would, maybe go after some stagnation down there, but that's more of like, it's just not theoretically Chinese medicine. Doesn't mean it's not acupuncture, because obviously it is, and I don't mean to be negative about the practitioner. I'm sure she knows what she's doing. It's just a different modality. That's almost like musculoskeletal acupuncture, where I'm getting like, where it's like dry needling kind of thing. That's not really theoretical Chinese medicine, but theoretical Chinese medicine, and maybe if what she's doing is helping, absolutely. But I do more like lower abdomen points. I'm not going into the pelvic floor. Typically, I have two vulvodynia cases that I do needle into the pelvic floor because I work with their physical therapist and they tell me what muscles are tight, and that's how I do it. But I'm still doing very constitutional based on their diagnosis, and then herbal and lifestyle and diet recommendations on top of that. But acupuncture definitely helps with endometriosis. What kind of approach do you like for the mental emotional piece? I would urge you to read my book, Body Belief. I think that's a great place to start. It's really about slowing down enough to connect with yourself, to know the conversation you're having. Is it abusive? Are you mean to yourself? Because endometriosis is autoimmune. Autoimmune is self-attacking self. Where are you attacking yourself? What level of compassion can you start to bring to the table for you? How can you communicate with you on a kinder, more loving, more gentle way? That is the key to calming down the hostility. Autoimmunity, endometriosis is hostility in the body, and a hostile environment is not a fertile environment. And so it's the physical hostility, the inflammatory markers, things like that are coming from our food and our diet and our environment. But those inflammatory markers are also triggered by chronic fight or flight, chronic stress. And if you are chronically in this space of like being really mean to yourself and beating yourself up, and things are never good enough and everything sucks, and I still regret that thing that happened 10 years ago, and I still don't like this person, and I have resentment for this person, that is the breeding ground for inflammation in your body. So I have a program called the Yes Program. It's a digital program. You can find it on my website, aimeeraupp.com, under products. That is a 4-week program to release your fertility fears. That's a place I would start. I also have this free video series, which I mentioned I was going to share with you, and then I forgot. That I want to give you guys. It's about releasing shame over your fertility. So if you go to aimeeraupp.com/releasing shame, that is, I think it's 3 videos, maybe 4, will really help you work through the mental emotional piece as well. So if that's, I see it a lot. I see women that they're doing all the supplements and they're doing all the diet and they're doing like my massage and castor oil packs, and it's still not working. Then I do urge, it's got to be the mental emotional piece. And that you got to really unpack the layers. This isn't just about meditating or just about praying. It's really about witnessing, identifying, owning your shit, and unpacking it. And I say that with a lot of love because I've been doing a lot of unpacking myself the last, decade, but for certain the last several years. And it's transformative. And we all deserve to feel happier in our hearts, right? So that's what I really encourage you guys to do. Okay, and so I'm still not seeing, I see 22 comments and I literally have 4 up on my screen. This is so strange. I'm going to refresh the page and see. I don't want to miss questions because these are some really good questions. Really good questions, but for some reason Facebook is being funky. Instagram, I'm seeing your questions, easy peasy. Facebook, not so much. So I see 23 comments. Okay, get the free video series here, Releasing Shame. How can I unblock my fallopian tubes? So, it just depends on the level of blockage. Some tubes will need surgical assistance. Some you need to follow a diet like this for like a year, and do all the mental emotional work and the castor oil packs and the acupuncture and the herbs. My recommendations are redundant because that's what works. And so, but it's frequency and consistency. You cannot do a diet for a month and then decide that it doesn't work for you. Have you seen links with SIBO and endo? I think any autoimmune condition in SIBO, because it's, there's usually leaky gut involved in an autoimmune condition, and SIBO, there's inflammation and bacterial overgrowth. Things just aren't processing properly. So I could see that. I not necessarily always see that though clinically. Okay, but I hit the questions that came in. Okay, so I'm good here. Let me just see if anything's coming through here. It's so strange. I'm going to take a picture for you, Beth, so you can see how strange it is on my end. There's literally, I can see 17 people are watching right now on Facebook. I'm sure there's more than that because it's not coming through. Whereas on this page, yeah, it says like 39. That's funny. Something's wrong. Anyway, okay, or with other gut stuff. Definitely. I mean, 100%. Number one way I think to approach any autoimmune condition is you've got to heal the gut. And that is the basis, and Chinese medicine's been healing guts for thousands of years, before we even had conversations about the gut, but or anti-inflammatory, and that's why I say the AIP diet. And what I have in Body Belief is a little different than AIP. There's a bit more bone broth, and the broth is so incredibly healing to the gut lining. So that's really why I go there. And I have so many endometriosis cases that it's worked beautifully for, but you've got to do the mental emotional work too. So why don't you guys check out the free video series, aimeeraupp.com/releasing shame. Check out my book, Body Belief. Yeah. Check out my book, Yes, You Can Get Pregnant. Yeah. You could also go on my website, take my fertility quiz. It's free, and it helps us figure out how we can best serve you. Then you're going to get emails from us on like the best things that you need. You can also, if you really want to unpack the emotional stuff, go over to aimeeraupp.com, check out my shop and the digital course, Yes. It's just called Yes. That's a 4-week program to releasing your fertility fears. That can really help as well. But remember, 1 in 10 women have endometriosis. It takes the average woman 5 years to get a proper diagnosis. And I think about 30 to even 50% of those women wind up with fertility challenges. So it serves you to get ahead of this. And if you have any potential symptoms or you suspect, I would just start with the diet and the mental emotional piece. Up to what age pregnancy is safe that you recommend? I mean, if you're still menstruating and ovulating regularly, I do believe that you should be able to potentially conceive. I've had women use their own eggs up to 47. They did do IVF, the 47-year-olds. I've had 46-year-olds get pregnant using IUI, and plenty of 45-year-olds and 44 and 43 and 42 and 41 and 40 naturally, IVF, all the things. So it's really about your health. Your fertility is an extension of your health. Your health is mental, it's emotional, it's physical, it's nutritional. You got to look at every single layer, and you can then shift things and improve them. I just got your books. Thank you so much. What vitamins or supplements should I take for fertility when looking for pregnancy? Head over to my website. I have a whole page on there of my Aimee's recommended supplements. So check that out. But check out my books. That's where I go over all of this stuff, guys. Okay? And also get the free video series, because I know for certain I give you some advice on the supplement diet perspective as well. Okay. Have a beautiful day, guys. Ciao.